Good day. This is another video how to do a word sum in grade 9 and 10. Just remember that if you do not know a value, we call it X or any small letter of the alphabet. That's something you must keep in the back of your mind. And then you'll see how this sum is solved. The problem says Nancy buys 15 meters of ribbon. Her sister buys 6 meters less ribbon, but pays twice as much per meter. Together they pay 66 Rand. What is the price per meter of each type of ribbon? Right. First I have to find all the information in here and set it up. We have now got to translate this problem into mathematical language. What I usually do is I get 2 or 3 things in a word sum that I can write at the top. In this case we have Nancy and her sister, and we have something that is happening to them. They each have a certain amount of meters of ribbon, they pay a certain price, and then with these 4 pieces of information we usually can build up a sum or an equation that we can work with. Right, so I wrote it out like this. Some people write the Nancy and sister on the sides. I don't, I use this method. Right, the first thing we have to see is that Nancy buys 15 meters of ribbon. So the meters of ribbon that Nancy bought, I can write it in here. It says her sister buys 6 meters less ribbon. So that we can quickly work out with the calculator with our heads. Knowing that she bought 15, we're going to work out how much the sister bought. This we can do somewhere else, or in the block here, or on a calculator. But what's important now is to have the 15 meters over here that Nancy bought, and the 9 meters that her sister bought. The next thing you're supposed to see is that the sister paid twice as much per meter. So we don't know what Nancy paid a price per meter, but we know that she paid twice as much. I said in the beginning here that if you don't know something, you might replace it with X. So I'm going to put an X here under Nancy because we don't know what her price was. So we're going to assume that Nancy paid X Rand per meter. I take the Rand out, I take the per meter out because otherwise there's too many variables here. It does say the sister pays twice as much per meter. So that means 2x. So that's twice as much as what she paid. This is sometimes confusing to people in grade 9 and 10, but as you get older and do more of these sums, you'll get to the situation where you know I'm not going to have an amount that I can write here, so I'm going to have to start working with these x's. Another thing that you can remember most of the times is that the question that is asked, what is the price per meter for each type of ribbon? There's a fat chance that we are going to make the price per meter X of any one of the 2 of them. But usually what the question is asking, we will usually make that X, but that's not always like that. It might be more comfortable doing it differently. Before we go on, let's quickly try and get our brains around the following. Please remember that, especially in word sums, we're not always going to go for answers. So here they are saying, if I have 4 meters at 5 Rand a meter, we will pay 4 times 5 Rand. Do not say it's 20 Rand, please. If they say we have 4 meters at 6 Rand a meter, we will pay 4 times 6 Rand. If they say we have 4 meters at 10 Rand a meter, we will pay 4 times 10 Rand. It's important not to go for 40. Now, if you buy 4 meters at X Rand a meter, you will pay 4 times X Rand, which will give you 4X. So, if Nancy bought 15 meters at X Rand a meter, she would have paid in total 15X Rand, which will give you 15 times X, and her sister paid twice as much for the 9 meters, so it will be 9 times the price she paid. So this is the total price that Nancy paid, total price that her sister paid. Now we can say together they paid 66 Rand, and we can set up an equation at the bottom. Here I now have an equation which I can solve to find x. The 15x plus the 9 times 2x is going to equal the 66 Rand. Then the x will pop out of here, the x that we originally chose. So we will now work out this equation quickly. The purpose of this video is not to do equations, but here I wrote down the equation, times out the 9 and the 2x, put the like terms together and solve for x. So x equals 2 Rand from our equation. At this stage, you must go back to the original question and decide and look who we chose X to be. Some people will take this person as X or this one as X and just adjust the question. But we decided that Nancy's price that she paid per meter was X, and that is the answer that we now worked out. At this stage, I will go back to my original table, and I will see the answer I got was X is 2. I know it's very small here, and I will replace it to see what I really worked out. So then I know that Nancy's price that she paid was 2 rand, and her sister paid twice as much, which is maybe 2 times the 2 rand, which is 4 rand. And then I can look what they want. They said here, what is the price per meter for each type of ribbon? Now we can set out our answer. And remember, when you get to the end of any exam or any test question, you must always set out in words again what you worked out. I'm just going to read this to you. So it says here, we worked out that X is 2 rand. X is Nancy's price per meter. We go back to the beginning of the sum and answers what were asked. We answer what were asked of us. Nancy paid X rand, which is 2 rand per meter. And her sister paid 2X rand, which is then going to be times 2, which is 4 rand per meter. You will never write all this in your answer. You will just say that Nancy paid 2 rand and the sister paid 4 rand per meter. I'm just explaining how you should think and talk back in a word sum. Hope you have an idea what's going on. Please look through this video once or twice and work and calculate yourself.